The forest of Alaska was silent under a thick blanket of snow. The trees stood tall, their branches heavy with ice, and the wind whispered a lonely song. It was the kind of place where only the brave or the foolish dared to go. Hunters and researchers have been coming here for years, studying the wolves that roam the frozen land. But lately, something strange had started to happen. Wolves were disappearing. Entire packs vanished without a trace. Poor prints led deep into the forest, and then, suddenly, they ended as if the ground had swallowed them. Hoon, a young tracker, had heard the stories. He was strong and quiet, with sharp eyes that could follow a trail through the snow even in the dark. He had grown up listening to the whispers of the forest, learning to read the tracks of foxes, deer, and wolves. But nothing had prepared him for this. Something unnatural was at work. Hunters spoke of strange blue lights above the treetops, flickering like small stars. Some said they saw shadows moving too fast to be human. Others refused to speak at all, leaving only fear in the cold air. One night, Hoon decided to follow the latest trail. The snow crunched beneath his boots as he stepped carefully, keeping his eyes on the ground. The paw prints were fresh, leading him toward a clearing he had never seen before. The wind was sharp, cutting through his coat, and his breath made clouds in the frozen night. The forest felt alive, watching him, waiting. As he neared the clearing, he noticed something strange. The paw print stopped suddenly. The snow around him was smooth, untouched. It was as if the wolves had simply disappeared into the air. Hoon's heart began to beat faster. He scanned the horizon, and then, from the corner of his eye, he saw it, a soft glow behind a ridge. It was not the moon or the northern lights. This was different, artificial. He crept closer, his senses alert. Half buried in ice was a strange craft. Its surface shined like liquid glass, smooth and perfect, unlike anything Hoon had ever seen. He crouched behind a fallen tree, peeking at it. The craft did not move, but it hummed softly, a sound that seemed alive. Suddenly, a door slid open, silently, revealing a tall figure stepping out. The creature was unlike anything Hoon had imagined. Its skin was pale, almost transparent, and its eyes glowed red in the cold night. It moved without noise, its presence strange and terrifying. Hoon froze. He knew he should run, but something held him in place. Then he heard it, the howls. Wolves, trapped inside a craft, crying out, but in a way that sounded wrong. They were not running free. They were under control. Hoon's mind raced. He had seen many dangers in the forest, but nothing like this. The wolves were not just captured, they were being trained. The alien, he realized, was not hunting them. It wanted to use them. Soldiers, warriors. His heart pounded as he watched the wolves move inside the glowing ship. Their eyes flickered with silver light, unnatural and sharp, and they followed invisible commands. For the first time, Hoon understood the danger. He was alone, facing a being far stronger and smarter than any human. And yet, he did not feel helpless. Something stirred inside him, a deep connection to the forest, to the wolves, to the wild itself. If these creatures were meant to fight, then he would have to find a way to stop them, to save the wolves and the forest he loved. The alien turned, sensing him. Its glowing red eyes scanned the clearing, stopping on Hoon. A strange, metallic voice broke the silence. The wolves, not prey, soldiers. Hoon swallowed hard. The night had just begun, and he was about to face a force no human had ever faced before. But one thing was clear. He would not turn back. The forest had chosen him, and now he had to stand. Hoon stayed hidden behind the ridge, his body pressed into the cold snow. The craft before him glowed like a frozen star, its surface smooth and alive. Inside, the wolves moved strangely, stepping in perfect formations, their silver eyes flashing. Hoon felt a shiver run down his spine. He had seen animals fight and run, but never like this. The wolves were alive, yet they were not free. Something was controlling them, something far beyond human understanding. The alien stepped forward, tall and pale, its glowing red eyes scanning the forest. Then it spoke, its voice metallic and strange, broken but understandable. The wolves, not prey, soldiers. Hoon's heart thumped in his chest. Soldiers? The wolves were not just captured, they were being trained. They were part of some plan he could barely imagine. Hoon crouched lower, trying to understand. The wolves inside the ship were moving in perfect rhythm, as if thinking together. Their paws touched the floor at the same time, their bodies swaying in unison. Hoon realized they were connected to the alien's mind. It was controlling them like puppets, shaping them into creatures of power. But something strange happened. He could feel it from a distance, a flicker of hesitation in the wolves. They were looking at him. The bond between wolf and wild ran deep, older than humans, older than time itself. Hoon knew the wolves remembered freedom. They remembered the forest, the snow, the moonlight. No matter how strong the alien was, it could not completely erase what the wolves had been born to be. Their silver eyes seemed to flash toward him, as if calling for help, as if trusting him. Hoon's mind raced. He thought of his younger sister, M.I.'s son, who loved studying animals and their behavior. She would have understood this instantly. She would have seen the fear, the confusion, and the spark of resistance. Hoon wished she were here, but he knew he had to act alone. The wolves needed someone to remind them what it meant to be free, someone to guide them back to the wild. The alien sensed him now. Its glowing eyes swept the clearing, scanning for movement. Sparks of energy danced along its pale skin, crackling like ice lightning. It raised one long, delicate arm, and the wolves inside the craft stopped moving for a moment. Their silver eyes dimmed slightly, and Hoon felt a chill run through him. The alien could reach across distance, controlling not only the wolves but also the forest around them. The air seemed heavier, the snow thicker, as if the world itself obeyed the alien. Hoon took a deep breath. He could not run. He could not hide. If the wolves were soldiers, they could become killers. He had to stop them. He had to remind them what it meant to be alive. Slowly, he stood and stepped into the clearing, the snow crunching beneath his boots. His voice cut through the cold night, low and firm. "You are free," he called, almost a whisper, almost a plea. "Remember who you are." Inside the craft, the wolves shifted. Their silver eyes brightened again. Some trembled, unsure. Some moved toward the glowing door. The alien hissed, a strange, piercing sound, and sparks flared from its body. It tried to regain control, but Hoon kept speaking. His words were simple, his tone steady. "Freedom is stronger than control. You belong to the wild, not to him." The wolves hesitated. Then slowly, one by one, they stepped toward the door. Their silver eyes burned bright again, defying the alien's will. Hoon felt a surge of hope. The alien's plan was powerful, but it had overlooked one thing: the strength of a bond between wild and man, the courage that could awaken even trapped hearts. And in that frozen clearing, under the pale northern lights, Hoon realized something terrifying and wonderful. The alien might be strong, but the wolves had remembered who they were, and now they were ready to fight back. The clearing was quiet for a moment, broken only by the soft hum of the alien craft. Hoon's breath formed clouds in the icy air as he watched the wolves inside. Their silver eyes glowed with hesitation, but now they trembled with a spark of recognition, the memory of freedom. Hoon's heart beat fast. He had to act carefully. One wrong move could make the wolves retreat, or worse, give the alien a reason to strike. The alien's red eyes fixed on Hoon, narrowing with anger. Sparks ran across its pale skin as it hissed in its metallic language, sending ripples through the craft. The wolves stiffened, responding to the alien's command. But Hoon had learned something important. Even the alien could not fully control creatures that had been born free. Hoon stepped forward into the snow, his voice low and steady. "Run, if you remember who you are. Fight for the wild." He raised his arms, not to threaten, but to signal trust. The wolves hesitated again, silver eyes flicking between Hoon and the alien. Something in their gaze changed, defiance. The alien roared, sparks flying from its body, but it was too late. The wolves had chosen. The first wolf leapt through the craft's open door, its movements fluid and wild. Hoon's chest tightened with awe. The creature shook off the alien's control completely. One by one, the wolves followed. Their silver eyes blazed as they ran toward the alien. Hoon felt a rush of pride and fear all at once. He had never seen anything like this, the wild fighting back against the unnatural. The alien tried to stop them. Sparks flew from its body, forming a glowing barrier, but the wolves were relentless. They had strength and courage that no machine, no alien could destroy. The leader wolf, a large male named Hoon, lunged at the creature, teeth flashing, eyes bright with freedom. The alien screamed in a sound that was neither human nor animal, a cry of panic as it realized that it underestimated the strength of the wild. Hoon crouched low behind a snow-covered ridge, feeling the cold bite his skin, but he did not move. He knew the wolves were faster and stronger than anything he could do. They had their instincts, their hearts, and now their freedom. Sparks flew as the alien tried to shield itself, but the wolves pressed closer. One wolf's teeth tore the alien's glowing skin, and sparks burst into the air like lightning. The alien stumbled backward, its control over the pack shattered. Hoon watched in awe as the wolves surrounded the alien. They did not kill for pleasure. They struck with precision, protecting themselves and reclaiming their freedom. Each movement was perfect, a combination of raw instinct and intelligence. The alien's red eyes flickered with fear. It had faced creatures before, but never like this. It could not understand the bond that connected wolf to wild, human to nature. Finally, the alien let out a last, piercing cry. Sparks burst around it, and the creature vanished into the snowstorm, leaving behind only the echo of its screams. The wolves stood silently in the clearing, their silver eyes fading back to normal. They were free, but they did not move away. They circled Hoon slowly, as if recognizing him not as a master, but as a friend. Hoon's chest heaved, cold air filling his lungs. He knelt, reaching out to Hoon, who sniffed him cautiously. The wolves had remembered the forest, remembered freedom, and remembered him. In that moment, Hoon understood something powerful. Courage and loyalty could not be broken, not by machines, not by aliens, not by anything. The northern light shimmered above them, painting the snow in green and purple. The forest was alive again, and the wolves were part of it once more. Hoon realized that even beings from distant stars could tremble in fear when confronted with the pure, unbroken strength of the wild. And in the silent forest, under the cold, flickering light of the Aurora, Hoon knew the fight was over, but the lesson of courage, loyalty, and freedom would stay with him forever. The snow had stopped falling, leaving the forest quiet and still. The Aurora danced above, casting pale green and purple light across the ice-covered trees. Hoon stood in the middle of clearing, exhausted but alert. Around him, the wolves circled slowly, their eyes calm now, silver glints fading back to soft yellow. They had fought, and they had won. The alien was gone, vanished into the storm, leaving only its strange energy behind. Hoon knelt on the cold ground, brushing snow from his coat. His mind raced, remembering the fear he had felt just hours ago. The alien had seemed unstoppable, its control over the wolves nearly complete. And yet, here they were, free, wild, alive. Hoon felt a swell of pride and awe. The forest had tested him, and he had stood with it. He had reminded the wolves who they were, and together they had defeated a being far stronger than himself. Hoon, the leader wolf, stepped closer, sniffing Hoon's hands. The other wolves watched quietly, their ears alert. It was not trust that he had owned, but respect. Hoon could feel it deep in his chest. He had not commanded them, not threatened them. He had simply reminded them of something they had never truly forgotten: freedom. The forest itself seemed to breathe again. Snow shifted softly under the wolves' paws. The trees swayed in the gentle wind, and the Aurora flickered with renewed light. Hoon looked around, taking it all in. He realized that the alien had underestimated the bond between life and wild. Machines, intelligence, and power meant nothing when faced with courage, loyalty, and instinct. Even a creature from the stars could tremble when confronted by something it could never control. Hoon's thoughts wandered to his sister and my son, and he wished he could see this. She would have smiled, telling him that animals, especially wolves, remembered what was natural to them. They could be trained, enhanced, or controlled, but the spirit of the wild could never be broken. Hoon smiled softly, feeling the truth of her words in the quiet of the forest. The wolves slowly moved away, returning to the trees and snow, but they did not vanish into the forest. They stayed nearby, watching, protecting, and moving as a pack once more. Hoon understood that they had regained their freedom, but they had not forgotten him. He had become part of their story, just as the forest had become part of his. Hoon realized something even more profound. The alien had come with a plan, thinking it could enslave the wolves and turn them into soldiers. It had relied on technology and mind control, but it had forgotten one thing: the bond between man and nature, the loyalty between human and wild, and the courage that could rise in the face of fear. That bond was stronger than any alien power, stronger than any weapon, stronger than any plan. As night fell and the Aurora faded, Hoon took a deep breath. The wolves howled softly in the distance, a song of freedom that echoed through the trees. He felt small under the vast sky, yet powerful because he had stood with the wild. He had reminded them of who they were, and in return, they had reminded him of what it meant to be brave, alive, and connected to the world around him. The alien would not return, Hoon thought. It had learned its lesson, though it would never speak it. Even creatures from other worlds, with powers beyond imagining, could feel the heart of a wild being and the courage of a human who stands for it. Hoon walked slowly toward the edge of the clearing, snow crunching beneath his boots. The wolves followed at a distance, disappearing into the forest only when he turned to leave. He knew he would never forget this night. The forest had taught him, the wolves had taught him, and the stars themselves had reminded him of one undeniable truth: courage, loyalty, and freedom were forces no being could ever enslave. And under the quiet, flickering light of the Aurora, Hoon smiled, knowing the forest and the wolves were safe, wild, and free.